got a lot in this story from the New York Times talking about Tom Brady's relationship with flamed out and failed exchange FTX, which is currently going through Chapter 11 proceedings with its former CEO now going through alleged criminal fraud proceedings. This article basically details Tom Brady's time with FTX from the first inquiries of FTX to work with Tom Brady back in 2020 and 2021, all the way through the fateful days and the collapse of FTX back in November. A lot of great nuggets in the story if you're a fan of Tom Brady or just a fan of general intrigue. The most pressing, of course, that we have to get to is a revelation about Taylor Swift, which was incorporated at the very bottom of this piece. I think it should have been at the very top because it was new information.
I agree.
But essentially, it stated that, no, Taylor Swift did not end this deal with FTX and Sam Bankman-Fried. It was the other way around. SBF left the deal lurking in his inbox for over 3 weeks before he decided to not sign the $100 million sponsorship endorsement with Team Swiftie. So a little bit of a change from the last story we had on this whole topic. Jen, any reactions there?
Well, first of all, I also thought Taylor Swift should have been at the top. Second, we didn't have FTX in Canada, and the Eras Tour has also not announced any Canadian dates. And so, am I really the person who should be speaking about this? I thought it was interesting that we have that class action lawsuit lawyer. His name escapes me right now. He was on the Hash before, who said Taylor Swift was the only celebrity who actually did her due diligence, who actually looked into what was going on and said, maybe this is a security, and so I'm not going to enter into this deal. Now we have inside sources, as reported by the New York Times, who say, actually, Taylor's team signed that deal and it was left in Sam Bankman-Fried's inbox. I wonder if, this was the tipping point for him. He said, we've signed all of these sponsorship deals with all these huge celebrities. We've put our name on stadiums. And can we actually afford to give Taylor Swift $100 million? I would have loved to see the terms of that deal, to see how much of it was going to be in FTT tokens. The piece also talks about how Tom Brady and Gisele Bündchen were getting paid in tokens. And so just, a little walk down memory lane for me here. The interesting part, the interesting thing that I thought came out in this article was it's kind of like the underlying tone of this being like a bad industry and not just a bad player and bad product. They talked about how Tom Brady, launched his autograph platform, and now the platform is not seeing as many users. Revenue is down. They had to do layoffs. That is consistent across the space and also consistent across the tech space in general. And I wish that would have been pointed out, but I'm sure the New York Times has a lot of problems with what I say too. Wendy?
First off, I have to say, Shakira's breakup song was so much better than Taylor Swift's. I thought Taylor Swift's was absolutely terrible. Team Shakira all the way.
I'm not here to pit women against each other. I love them both, Wendy. I'm just
sorry,
saying.
Man. I'm sorry, man. I just gotta say
and Taylor Swift.
I prefer stuff in Spanish because it's so much more dramatic. It's got so much more soul. But anyways, I digress. This is a very interesting story. And of course, that key piece of information of Taylor Swift's team actually signing the deal is going to be at the bottom, because that would contradict everything that mainstream media has said. And mainstream media does not like to be wrong. And I feel like in the case with SBF, I know the criminal and the fraud and all of those different cases, because there's multiple of them, we're going to be seeing a lot more information be revealed. And I think that it's going to be very interesting to catch all of these things that mainstream media has been obviously hiding or suppressing. And we've seen that in this article. And again, when there is a bad actor in any industry, there's a bad actor. It doesn't make the industry bad. Well, except banking. We know that the banking industry is inherently bad all the way around. Shout out to JP Morgan and all of the slap on the wrist fines that they pay. Sam, did you have a take on this?
Yeah, a couple things. For one thing, I think there's been a lot of talk about celebrities no longer wanting to endorse crypto companies moving forward. And I think a lot of celebrities are going to stop, maybe the Tom Bradys of the world. And, we're probably not going to see Tom Hanks, who really cares about his brand, doing anything for, the future FTXs, whatever those are. Hopefully they don't exist. Or even something like a Coinbase, which is much more run of the mill. But I do think that we forget that the public and a lot of these celebrities and their teams have pretty short attention span, or pretty short, memories when it comes to the sorts of products that, people are willing to advertise. So, I mean, we were talking before the show basically about how the Kardashians are still, shilling all of these different supplements and stuff. And they're not the only ones who kind of don't really care about who they're associated with as long as the money's there. So I don't think that this entire industry of advertising for crypto is going to disappear in the future. But one other thing that is a completely unrelated thing that this brought to mind for me is just the fact that Terra, the very collapsed crypto stablecoin thing from yesteryear, it feels like so long ago now, is still a sponsor for the Washington Nationals because they signed a 5-year deal at I think like $40 million. And there's some behind the scenes drama there about like the Nationals not wanting to give that money back. But there is some irony around like we pick who we want to be angry at. So, Larry David is getting sued for advertising this thing that nobody knew really was a scam through and through when he was doing it. But also we're not yelling at the Nationals for still calling their, box the Terra box. Anyway, I just think that there's some irony there. But if I were a celebrity, I probably wouldn't, frankly, do what Tom Brady's doing.
You are a celebrity. You're on the hash.
Yeah, you're on the hash. What are you talking about?
So you won't see me shilling any crypto companies.
Well, I think this is the thing. I feel like celebrities are going to come back. There's a bear market. We've seen these things happen time and time again. The celebrities are going to come back. People like money. Celebrities get a lot of endorsements, especially when we're talking about musicians. Musicians really don't get paid a lot, but they make a lot in endorsements and they make a lot in ads, and the same with influencers, and the same. It's just kind of how marketing is shifting. So I feel like we will see celebrities come back in, especially big celebrities. I do think that the industry will get more refined as time goes on, hopefully in the US. It depends who we get in as our next president. So, we just need some kind of simple guidelines, like force exchanges to have to set funds aside. We need to change the accredited investor law. We need to restructure the SEC. And if America could do that, we'll be okay. Unfortunately, it'll probably take about 10 years before we see any type of progress here, while Southeast Asia continues to flourish.
The celebrities haven't completely left, though. Like, if we just look at consensus alone, William Shatner was there shilling his NFT. I spoke to Dre from Cool and Dre, who said, like, the music industry is still completely on board with NFTs. That's what he said on the panel. And so I think the celebrities are still around. It's just what we're seeing is a result of the entire industry just being down. Although we're not that, we're doing a little bit better now.
Also, nobody's talking about the Taylor Swift deal was $100 million. Like, can you really be that mad at her for being angry when they?
Of course, we have to blame everybody else for our actions. We can't take full responsibility, even though we're supposed to be operating in a true decentralized economy. Come on now, guys.